Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. Let's begin seated. If it's more comfortable for you, you might sit up on a block or a blanket or a towel, just finding a comfortable seated position for yourself. Resting the hands somewhere comfortable. Taking a moment to settle into the body here, feeling our hands, feeling our feet, feeling our seat, feeling the points of contact between our bodies and the ground, the earth. If it feels safe and comfortable for you, allowing your eyes to close. And let's begin with a few deep breaths just to bring ourselves into this moment and into our bodies. Breathing deeply in and exhaling. Breathing deeply in and letting it all go. Exhaling completely. And one more time, breathing in and breathing out. And allowing your breath to resume its natural rhythm. Feeling the breath enter the body and leave the body. Feeling the body breathe itself. And once more, bringing our attention to the points of contact between our bodies and the earth. Feeling the weight of the body supported by the earth. You might take a moment to ground your energy here, visualizing or imagining roots growing from your feet, from your seat, down into the earth, through the soil, through the rocks and the water tables, deep, deep into the center of the earth, connecting you with the rich, healing earth energy. And on your next inhale, you might imagine drawing this energy up through your roots into your body, nourishing the body, every cell of your being with fresh earth energy. And on the exhale, imagining that you are releasing anything that is ready to be composted, recycled into something new, deep into the earth. Taking a few rounds of this grounding on your own. And returning attention back to the body, feeling into the hands, feeling into the feet. Taking a moment to set an intention for your practice today. Perhaps the intention to release everything that does not serve your intention, desire, plan to move into this weekend and out of the work week, rested and restored, making the intention to reset here today. And as we move through our practice, this practice is intended to be very gentle and nourishing. If you notice that your breath is catching or you're feeling pain or discomfort, please back off and find that place where your breath is easy and the shape is comfortable, sensation is welcome, but pain is not the intention of our practice today. I would like to offer a little breathing exercise as we enjoy our seated meditation and opening. We'll try some uneven breathing to help stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system, bringing calming and relaxing energy into the body. So we'll breathe in for a count of 4 and breathe out for a count of 7. Let's try that together. Breathing in and out. And in and out. And in and out. And once more in and out. And once again, allowing the breath to return to its natural rhythm, softening the brow, softening the jaw, softening the shoulders, letting the belly go. And if they're not already open, blinking the eyes open, let's move into our asana practice. So we're going to start in the seated position here. We're just going to warm up our body a little bit. So let's begin by bringing our right ear to the right shoulder, breathing into the left side of the neck. You might even walk your left fingertips out to the side of your mat. And bringing the head back through center, dropping the left ear to the left shoulder. Breathing into the right side of the neck, perhaps walking those right fingers out to the side of your mat. And bringing the head back through center, dropping the chin to the chest and taking a few gentle neck rolls from side to side, letting the crickle crackles work themselves out here. And coming back to center, let's take a few shoulder rolls back. And a few shoulder rolls forward. And let's warm up the wrists, giving them a few circles one direction and circling the other direction. Grasping the hands together, clasping the fingers, and just giving those wrists a little bit more of a warm up here, going from side to side, creating a figure 8 with the hands. And now bringing left hand to the outside of the mat and raising right arm toward the sky. Let's walk those left fingers out and bend over to the left, opening up through the right side body, breathing into those ribs, the outer hip, and coming back through center, bringing the right hand to the floor outside of your mat, raising the left arm to the sky, and bending over to the right, breathing into the side body, the ribs on the outer hip, and coming back through center. Now bringing the left hand to the right knee and bringing the right hand just behind our body, taking a gentle twist to the right, looking over the right shoulder. And coming back through center, let's do the same thing on the other side. Left hand to right knee, left hand, right hand to left knee, left hand behind the back. Gentle twist here, looking over the left shoulder. And coming back through center. Let's bring our feet out a little bit further in front of us, creating a diamond shape for seated bound angle. Letting the knees drop open as far as is comfortable for you. Just taking a few breaths here, allowing the hips to open, drawing the spine up long. And perhaps walking the fingers forward a bit, going a little deeper into our seated bound angle pose here. Walking the fingers over to the right, getting a little bit into that left side body, taking some deep breaths. And coming back through center, walking over to the left side, opening up the right side body a little further. And coming back through center, extending the legs out in front of you, toes point back towards your face, drawing the spine up long here, taking the hands forward, reaching for the thighs, the shins, the ankles, taking a gentle forward bend, opening up the back body here. And walking the hands back up, coming back to a straight spine. Let's make our way onto our hands and feet, knees, tabletop. So if you have tender knees, you might lay down a blanket or a towel or fold your mat in half, create a little bit of extra cushion for yourself here. Pressing evenly through all four corners of the hands, drawing the spine long, drawing the navel in toward the spine, creating strength and stability to support the low back. And on an inhale, opening the chest forward and tipping the hips up for cow pose, looking up toward the sky. And exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the tail under for cat. Inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Once more, inhaling cow. Exhaling cat. Coming back to our table, looking over the right shoulder, bringing the shoulder and hip toward one another, opening up the left side body here, breathing into those ribs, that outer hip. And coming back through center, doing the same on the other side, looking over the left shoulder, bringing left hip toward left shoulder. Breathing deeply into the right side body. And inhaling through center. Stepping the left foot back toward the back of your mat, crossing the toes behind your right foot, and turning to look over your right shoulder at those left toes, getting a little bit deeper into the side body here. And coming back into table, stepping the right toes back now and crossing them behind the left foot, turning to look over the left shoulder, breathing deeply into the right side body. And coming back into table. Let's do a couple more rounds of cat-cow here. So inhaling, chest forward, tailbone tips up, looking up. Exhaling, rounding through the spine, tucking the tail under. Inhaling cow. And exhaling cat. And now bringing your knees about as wide as your mat, bringing the toes closer together. Let's sit our hips back for a child's pose, sitting back only as far as is comfortable in your body. Walking the hands forward, allowing the forehead to release to or toward the mat. Breathing deeply here, allowing the hips to open just a little bit. And walking the hands back under your shoulders, coming back into table. Stepping the right toes to the back of the mat and reaching the left fingertips toward the front of the mat. You might stay here or inhale, reaching the right toes behind and the left fingers forward for balancing table, creating natural traction through the spine, keeping the neck neutral, looking down toward your mat, and coming back into table. We'll take that on the other side, stepping the left toes back, bringing the right fingers forward, staying here, or option to inhale, left toes point back, right fingers reach forward. Breath is slow and steady. And returning to table. Inhaling, sweeping the right arm up toward the ceiling, and exhaling, threading the needle, bringing the right hand and arm behind the left hand, right shoulder and ear to the mat, walking those left fingers forward if you want a little bit more opening. And walking that left hand back in under the left shoulder, inhaling the right arm up to the sky and placing it back down on the mat. Inhaling now the left arm to the sky and threading the needle, bringing the right or the left hand and arm behind the right hand, left shoulder, left ear to the mat, perhaps walking those right fingers forward, allowing the sticky part of our upper back, our shoulders to open, breathing slow and steady. And bringing the right hand back below the right shoulder, sweeping the left arm up to the sky, and returning to table. Let's take a second child's pose here, widening the knees, sitting the hips back, walking the hands forward, forehead to or towards the mat. Deep breaths. And coming back through table. Moving now into plank pose. You might modify this by staying on your knees, pressing evenly through all four corners of your hands. And lowering to the belly. Hands can stay below your shoulders, flipping the toes so that all five toes press into the mat. And inhaling, lifting the heart off of the floor, baby cobra. And exhaling down, pressing back up into your plank. Knees can be on the floor, or you can press up two toes. And on an inhale, piking your hips toward the ceiling, pressing through all four corners of the hands. letting your heels melt toward the mat for a downward facing dog. You might find some movement here, bending the knees deeply, pedaling the feet out, perhaps wiggling the hips side to side, whatever movement feels good in your body before settling into the pose. Broadening through the shoulder blades, gazing between the toes or toward the back of the mat. If the downward facing dog does not work for you, for your body today, please feel free to return to the child's pose from earlier. And coming back into our plank pose, hands under the shoulders, pressing evenly through all four corners of the hands. Drawing on our core strength. And now stepping our right foot forward, helping your foot out if you need a little help there, as many steps as it takes. Coming into a low lunge. Feeling the opening through our left hip. And now planting the left hand under the left wrist and inhaling, right arm to the sky for a gentle twist in our lunge. And bringing the right hand back to the mat. Bringing the hips back now for a gentle half split, opening up the back of the leg here. Toes point toward the ceiling. And coming back through our lunge, planting the hands under the shoulders, stepping the right foot back into our plank or modified plank. And now stepping the left foot forward, helping our feet out as much as is needed. Finding our low lunge. Breathing here for a moment. Feeling the opening through the right hip, the left inner thigh. Breathing slowly and deeply. Planting the right hand under the right shoulder and inhaling left hand toward the sky. Looking up toward the left fingers if that works for your neck. If not, find a spot that works well for you. Creating the shape with your body that works, that feels good. And bringing the left hand back down to the mat, sitting the hips back, pointing the left toes toward the ceiling for a half split on the left side. Feeling an opening through the back of the left leg, the hamstrings, the calves, perhaps the Achilles tendon. And bringing the hands forward once more into our low lunge. And now tucking the right toes under, let's bring right foot to meet the left foot at the top of our mat. Finding a forward fold here, inhaling up halfway, body shaped like an L, an upside down L, lengthening through the crown of the head, lengthening through the spine, firm through the legs, and exhaling back to a forward fold here. I invite you to take ragdoll now, taking the knife edge of the right hand into the left elbow, knife edge of the left hand into the right elbow. And you might sway back and forth here, allowing natural traction to create even more length and space in the spine, opening up further through the back body. And coming up halfway once more, finding that length through the spine. Exhaling to our forward fold. And inhaling, rolling up one vertebra at a time to a standing position. Grounding down through all four corners of the feet. You might have your feet hip width apart or bring big toes to touch small space between the heels, whatever feels most comfortable for you. Rolling the shoulders back, opening the heart, drawing the spine up long, legs engaged, strong and steady in mountain pose. Inhaling, arms to the sky, and grasping our wrist with our right hand, leaning over to the right for half moon. Opening up through the left side body and coming through center, grasping right wrist with left hand, coming to the left side, opening up through the right side body. And coming back to the center. I'm going to move my blanket off my mat now for our standing series. In our mountain pose, inhaling left knee into one-legged mountain, strong and steady, strong through the right leg, strong through the core. And inhaling, stepping the left toes back for crescent pose, perhaps bending into that knee. Fingers reach for the sky, shoulders drop away from the ears, hips point towards the front of the mat. And on your next inhale, opening up toward the left side of our mat into star, legs wide, arms reaching, taking up space. And on our next exhale, folding forward, pigeon toeing the feet or bringing them parallel. For a wide leg forward fold, you might stay up higher, you might come down a little bit lower, whatever feels good in your body right now. A couple breaths here. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Planting now the left hand right below your face. Inhaling, right arm up to the sky for a little twist here. And coming back through center, planting right hand, opening up to the left side, right fingers reach for the sky now. And coming back into that forward fold, rolling up now one vertebra at a time, opening back up into star, pointing the toes outward, taking up space here. And now bending into the thighs, taking a gentle goddess pose. No need to go too low here. Bringing hands to the thighs and taking right shoulder toward left thigh for a gentle twist here. Coming back through center and bringing now left shoulder toward left right thigh, getting this twist on the other side. And coming back to center, rising back up through star. Turning the left toes toward the front of the mat, right toes toward front of the mat, opening up into a warrior two. Right fingers reach forward, left fingers reach back, feeling strong and steady in our legs, feeling length through the spine, flipping the front palm, inhaling and reaching up and back, left fingers come to left thigh for a reverse warrior, feeling the opening through the right ribs, and exhaling back to warrior two, straightening the front leg, stepping the back foot in about a foot or so, turning hips to face the front of the mat, and forward folding, bringing fingers to or toward our calves, ankles, or the mat for pyramid pose. Coming to a halfway lift here, stepping the left foot up to meet the right at the front of the mat, exhaling to a forward fold, inhaling, rolling up one vertebra at a time, meeting in mountain pose once more. Legs firm, spine long, shoulders down away from the ears, pressing evenly through all four corners of the feet. Inhaling, arms and right knee up now, finding one-legged mountain on the other side. Exhaling, stepping our right toes back for crescent, perhaps taking a few bends in that back knee here, feeling our opening through the front of the right hip, feeling strength in our legs, and inhaling, opening to the right side of our mat for star. Fingertips reach toward the corners of our room, taking up space here. And on our next exhale, pigeon toeing or paralleling the feet and coming into a wide-legged forward fold on this side. Inhaling halfway, exhaling, forward fold, placing the right hand under your chest, your face, and inhaling left fingers toward the sky. Exhaling and switching so that left hand is under the chest, right fingertips open up toward the sky, gentle twist here. And finding our forward fold once more, rolling up one vertebra at a time, toes pointing back out toward the edges of our mat, arms reach toward the corners of our room, finding star once more, taking up space here, and coming into a goddess squat, dropping hands to the thighs, bringing left shoulder toward right thigh for a twist, coming through center, bringing right shoulder toward left thigh, coming back through center, rising up through star, pointing toes toward the front of the mat, and sinking into warrior two. Left fingers reach forward, right fingers reach back, strong and steady through the legs, space in the spine. Flip the front palm, inhale, left arm up and back for reverse warrior, right fingertips come to the right thigh, inhaling into the left ribs. And exhaling back into warrior two, stepping now, um, straightening the left leg, stepping the right foot about a foot forward, turning hips square to the front of the mat, and gently folding forward over the left leg, bringing fingertips to the calf, the ankle, the mat for pyramid pose. Coming up through the back side of that left leg now. And lifting halfway, stepping right foot to meet left at the top of the mat, folding forward and rolling up one vertebra at a time, finding mountain once more. Spine long, shoulders roll down away from the ears, legs firm, feeling strength in the core, strong and steady like a mountain. And inhaling, arms to the sky. Exhaling, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale here. And exhale, step back to plank. Strong and steady, legs engaged, glutes firm, core strong, arms strong. Dropping knees to the mat. Forward table. Opening the knees, mat width, and setting the hips back into child's pose, walking those fingers forward. Breathing deeply into the hips, into the back body. Coming back into table, lengthening through the spine. Stepping the right foot forward between our fingers for a low lunge. Breathing into that left hip. And walking the right foot out to the outside of the mat, bringing our right hand inside the foot. Letting the left hip, the left knee drop open. You might stay here. You might grab a block and come down to forearms here in lizard pose. Or you might come down to the mat on the forearms, whatever feels best in your body right now. Taking a few deep breaths, allowing the sticky part of our body to open. And if you're not already up on your hands, pressing back up, walking that right foot back in between the hands for a low lunge, coming back to tabletop, and now stepping the left foot forward, pausing for a breath in our low lunge on this side. And walking or shimmying that left foot out to the edge of the mat, letting it drop and finding wherever you are comfortable on the left side here. And all of our bodies are different side to side. So if you notice that this side is much tighter than the other side, don't feel like you need to make the same shape that you made on the right side. Find what works here. Meeting your body right where it is today. Breathing deeply into those hips. And pressing back up if you're not already there. Walking that left foot in. Stepping the left foot back to meet the right in tabletop. Bringing those knees wide for one last child's pose here. Noticing if there's a difference in sensation in your body. compared to the child's poses that you took earlier in your practice. And now pressing up through tabletop and meeting on our backs. Bringing knees to the chest, perhaps rocking back and forth, getting a little movement there. Placing feet on the floor, just a couple of inches away from the hips, from the glutes. Arms press into the mat on either side of your torso, rolling the hips up to the sky into bridge pose, one vertebra at a time. Feeling the strength in the back body and the opening in the front body. And rolling down one vertebra at a time. Letting knees fall open and soles of the feet come together for reclined bound ankle. You might bring hands to the inner thighs or the knees. Add a little bit of weight to help a final opening pose for these hips here. Breathing slowly and deeply. And perhaps bringing hands to the outside of the knees, giving yourself a little help. Close those knees up, bringing the knees back to the chest before extending the soles of the feet toward the ceiling. I invite you to grasp the back of your thighs here if it feels more supportive. Or you can allow the hands to rest on the mat beside you for a variation of legs up the wall pose. And bending the knees once more, bringing knees to the chest, rocking side to side, extending the left leg long, hugging the right knee into the chest toward the armpit, sort of outside of the ribs here for when we're leaving pose. Inhaling, left knee to meet right. Right leg extends long on the mat in front of you, bringing left knee outside of the ribs toward the left armpit here. Bringing right knee back to the chest, dropping both feet to the mat, taking your right ankle on top of your left knee, letting that right knee fall open, and bringing the left leg toward the chest as far as feels comfortable for you, grasping behind the thigh or grasping the knee or the calf for figure four. Really getting into that outer hip here. And letting the left foot come back to the mat. Right foot comes to the mat. Left ankle comes to the right knee. Left knee falls open. And taking figure four on this side now as well. And dropping the right foot back to the mat. Left foot comes to meet right on the mat. Walking the feet out to the outer edges of the mat and letting the knees come together, fall together. Bringing the arms to a T or to a cactus shape, allowing both knees to fall open to the right, looking over the left shoulder for a gentle twist here. And inhaling through center, exhaling, dropping knees to the left, looking over the right shoulder. And once more, coming back through center, bringing knees to the chest one more time, taking any movement that feels supportive for your body at this moment. And then extending right leg, left leg long, extending the arms long beside your body, closing your eyes for final resting pose, Shavasana. Many yoga teachers will tell you that Shavasana is the most important pose of our practice because this is the pose where we rest and allow the work that we've done to integrate with our body mind into the nervous system. So take a few moments here, melting into the mat on each exhale as you allow the yoga to melt into you. You might experiment with lengthening your exhales here, similar to the practice from beginning of class, perhaps inhaling for 5 and exhaling for 8. Nowhere to go, nowhere to be other than right here in your body in this moment, allowing the urgency and the crush of the week to fall away. And now beginning to awaken through the fingers, awaken through the toes, perhaps rolling out the wrists and the ankles. Taking a long stretch, reaching arms up above the head, reaching the toes long, hugging the knees into the chest, rolling over to your favorite side, And with the help of your hands pressing up into a seated position and taking a moment here to offer yourself a moment of gratitude for showing up for your practice today, for showing up for yourself. I'm so grateful that you joined me. I'm wishing you a restful and restorative weekend. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. I hope to see you next month.